Hello, my name is METİN ARIDAŞIR. This is 91st part of explanation of my theory. Electron's angular momentum is independent of its radius. 1. Electron's angular momentum is independent of angular frequency also. 2. Motion arrow. Remember, electron motion forms first cycle. Remember, first cycle. Okay. I advise you to watch my former videos. 2. Motion arrow length is the radius wavelength of electron motion form. Remember, this is motion form, motion arrow, meta, sensation, perception, matter, intrinsic motion form. At the rate of its intensity, it is shortening, okay? It is reversing as a first cycle, then second cycle, then third cycle, under the response effect of meta-sensation, perception, matter's reaction. Okay, here, but a kind of pressure of meta-sensation, perception, matter make this motion arrow reverse. Remember from my first video. Yes. Three. In meta-sensation, perception, matter, motion arrow is intrinsic motion form. 4. Motion arrow's length is inversely proportional to its intensity. 5. We can assume this motion arrow as angular momentum also. Motion arrow. In fact, these are motion. This is motion arrow in reality. Yes. We can assume this motion arrow as angular momentum also. We can write L is equal to spin S equal to H like this. Motion arrow is equal to, remember, Planck's constant 6.62 10 to the minus 34 kilogram meter square divided by second. Is constant, of course. And according to my theory and my formulas, angular momentum is equal to spin equal to H is equal to lambda n multiplied by mass, linear velocity component mass, multiplied by linear velocity. Here, angular momentum is equal to spin is equal to Planck's constant is equal to lambda n, here say lambda n, or radius, its length, okay? Lambda n multiplied by mass, linear velocity component, multiplied by linear velocity. Linear velocity, remember, 2 pi c, 1,884,000 km per second. This is my formula, okay? Here. Shortly, angular momentum is equal to lambda n multiplied by mass multiplied by Vg. Here. It's in the same time motion arrow represents. Okay. Constant. This is constant. L is constant. Planck's constant is angular momentum constant. Yes. 6. So, we can say that at the rate of its intensity, inversely proportional of its intensity, its length, radius or wavelength will shorten and its mass component will increase. Okay? Here, mass component. Think of about firstly as motion form. Represents L. Okay? L is constant and mass multiplied by lambda n, another constant, then multiplied by linear velocity, again. L represents motion arrow equal to lambda n multiplied by mass, linear velocity component, multiplied by linear velocity. This is constant, 2 pi c, or kilometer per second, or 1,884,000 km per second. This is constant. Okay. 2 of that multiply, if we multiply lambda n, radius, length of motion arrow. This is in the same time lambda n, length of motion arrow. Okay. Motion arrow length multiplied by mass is equal to a constant. Okay. Constant. And we can deduce the mass from another data. So we can say that at the rate of its intensity, inversely proportional of its intensity, its length, radius or wavelength will shorten and its mass component will increase. We can write then a new mass formula as linear velocity Vg component. Yes, we will write new mass formula according to my theory and my formulas that I put for. Now, mass Vg component, I have computed, I remember, 3.858 10 to the minus, I guess, 36 kilogram. Okay. No. No. Mass linear velocity component is equal to L angular momentum divided by Vg, this is 2 pi c, or 2 pi c kilometer per second, or 1,884,000 kilometer per second, multiplied by lambda n, or length of motion arrow. Okay. Yes. Now, you see, I hope. Now, 7. Now, this is my main angular momentum formula, lambda n. N is number of cycles. This is here, small one, first cycle. Another one, second cycle. Okay. Notice that. Electron motion form. Response of meta-sensation perception matter at the rate of its intensity, response will be stronger. Okay? Meta-sensation perception matter as a pressure, a kind of, then reverse. Now, here reversing, first cycle say, reverse, reverse, reverse, reverse. Okay? Then coming second one. Here, this is n equal 1. First cycle, this is main electron motion form. Real motion form. Now it has a space, it has dimensions. Okay? Then second one. Okay, second. And come on in again, third one, to the eternity. 1, 2, 3, successive waves. Okay? And first one, electron motion form's total mass is greater than second one. Second one's total mass is greater than third one, etc. And angular momentum of first one, but multiplied by 1, 2 integer numbers, 3, 4. Okay, this is formula. Lambda, no, linear angular momentum n is equal to n multiplied by lambda n multiplied by mass, linear velocity component, and linear velocity 2 pi c, or 1,884,000 km per second. This is my main angular momentum formula, and is number of cycles. Okay. Then, for electron motion form, angular momentum, spin, and angular velocity is parallel to linear velocity. This is my opinion. I don't think that electromagnetic wave, say, magnetic component perpendicular to electric component. Mass objects turning, rotate, and yes, I guess electron motion form that I put forth as intrinsic motion form of meta-sensation perception matter differ from these concepts. Here, motion form. Okay. This is angular momentum, say, h, Planck's constant, say, motion arrow, say, or spin. Okay. And this is linear velocity, and this side momentum. Okay. And angular momentum is not perpendicular linear velocity. Angular velocity of electron motion form is not perpendicular to linear velocity. It's linear velocity. Okay? In accepted physics, angular velocity is perpendicular to linear velocity. I have different concepts, okay, that I put forth. This is electron motion form. This is motion arrow. This is spin. This is Planck's constant. This is angular momentum of meta-sensation perception matters intrinsic motion forms, electron motion form. And 9. All of electrons, protons, nucleus whose angular momentums, spins are independent of their frequency and their radiuses. Protons, nucleuses are not electron motion forms, but their constituent parts are electron-like motion forms. Because of that constituent parts give the protons and nucleuses their angular momentums or spins, okay, like electron motion forms. Have a good night. See you later.